nosotros. Omar. Hello, hello.
Igual se apagó. ¿Listo? ¿Sí habla?
Good morning. Hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. ¿Súbele? Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. ¿Me escuchan todos bien? Sí. A ver, ¿le pueden subir un poquitititito más, porfis? Good morning. ¿Mejor? Sí. Buenos días. Good morning. Buenos días, he perdido. Good morning. Welcome to another session of 1 Million Cups. My name is Grace. I'm part of the 1MC team. Today, please help me thank Ed Arriaga. He was our coffee sponsor and coffee partner for today. So welcome to 1 Million Cups. If you're new here, I do see some new faces. Can you raise your hand if this is your first time at 1MC? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, welcome to 1MC, welcome to 1 Million Cups. If this is your first time here, you might be wondering, what is 1 Million Cups? 1 Million Cups is a national program where we connect community with entrepreneurs. It's basically a national program that connects entrepreneurs with their community through storytelling. En palabras bien sencillas, conectamos a los emprendedores con la comunidad. Si ustedes tienen un negocio, pueden venir, pueden presentarlo y pueden platicarnos su historia. Each presenter has either between 6 to 10 minutes to present their story, and then it's followed up by a Q&A. Cada presentador tiene alrededor de 6 minutos, de 6 a 10 minutos, y luego sigue con 10 minutos de Q&As, de preguntas y respuestas. Son preguntas bien sencillitas. We are actually one of the newest 1MC in the entire US. Somos uno de los 1 Million Cups más nuevos de todo el país y siempre decimos que nos atrevemos a decir que somos los mejores. As today, for the past 2 years, we have served 4,485 cups of coffee, que suenan como que son bien poquitas, pero son bastantes. Lucy y Jonathan, que sí tienen un coffee shop, no me dejarán mentir que son muchas. And at this time, please silence your phones. Por favor, les voy a pedir que pongan sus teléfonos en silencio. Alrededor del edificio tenemos varios booths. Aquí tenemos uno, que de hecho hay alguien hablando por teléfono. Tenemos otro acá atrás de las escaleras. Y hay otro atrás. Y creo que hay dos arriba, si no me equivoco. Please, at this time, silence your phones. Let's pay attention to our speakers. We have booths all around the building. We have 3 downstairs, and I believe we have 2 upstairs. Ahí pueden contestar su teléfono, nada más en lo que duran las presentaciones. No nos tardamos mucho. And please help me welcome Paulina Sosa. She's the founder and she's the president, right? And she's also the president of Latinx Voices.
Okay, hi everyone, good to see you, good morning. Just wanted to say hi with our little mascot, Lobito. I'm gonna have to put him down though, so I can click through the slides. All right, so as mentioned, my name is Dr. Paulina Sosa Quintanilla, and I'm the proud founder and executive director and president of Latinx Voices, and I'm gonna dive in because we don't have very much time. So just a little bit about me. I wanted to share a little bit about my story and kind of how that led me to start a nonprofit, which I know for many of us in the room, we have small businesses, and you may be wondering what's the difference between a small business and a nonprofit. So a nonprofit, while it is different structurally, we carry the same burdens, and we carry the same fears, and we carry the same goals to, of course, succeed, to serve our community, but also to make sure that we're able to sustain ourselves and that we're able to keep up with payroll and that we're able to continue the work we do and grow it. So a little bit about me. I am a Brownsville native. I went to Pace High School. I don't know if there's any Vikings in the room. I see a few Vikings. And from there, I went to UT Austin, Hook 'em Horns. Any Longhorns? Oh my gosh. Okay, I know that there's probably some online. From there, I went to DC for my master's in public health, and then I went to Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health for my doctorate in public health. So not to say too much about this, but I'm also a little bit of a data nerd. I got my doctorate in public health informatics, so I know that there's a few of us in the room that work with data equity, so always happy to talk more about that. And then, more importantly, is the journey of Latinx voices. So we actually were born in the COVID pandemic. How many of us remember the day the world stood still? Right? COVID was not so long ago, but it was also about 6 years ago. So it just feels like it was yesterday. So we actually started in response to the many needs that we saw in Latino communities specifically. At the time, I was living in DC, but I've always been very connected to my roots here in the Valley. And then we worked with a lot of organizations, national associations that worked across the board in health and public health. But one of the biggest barriers and one of the biggest gaps that we saw consistently was there was a lack of information for Latino communities. And during a time like COVID, during an emergency like this, our community needed that support. So what we decided was, okay, we're gonna get our partners together. And we were given the honor and the privilege to kick off a national tour with Health and Human Services and one of our key partners today, Hispanic Communications Network. That tour spanned for about 2 years, and we went across 26 cities. We went from San Juan, Puerto Rico, to Miami, Florida, through Brownsville, Texas, all the way through San Diego, California. So 26 cities across the southern half of the United States. And the beautiful thing is that in this moment, we were also able to capture stories to talk about and build up our now cornerstone health initiative, which is Luchar Health. From there, we also kicked off our first ever National Health Summit here in this building last year. I know I see a few of us in the room that were able to join us, and a big thank you, of course, to BCIC and the eBridge for their support. But this just goes to show that partnership remains a pillar and a cornerstone of the work we do. So this is our vision. I'm gonna fast forward through some of this, our vision, where we've been. I kind of went through that just now. We started off as a volunteer coalition when the COVID emergency began. We went into our COVID tour, and then it kicked off into, basically into 23, end of 23, 24, when we did our transition to Luchar, and then our annual summit, and then where we are today. So as I mentioned, the problem that we see and the reason we exist is to ensure that the Latino communities that we serve, and you'll hear me say Latino a lot, but it's not just our Latino communities, it's also our rural communities, it's also just in general underserved communities. So there's deep disparities, as we know, in chronic disease and caregiving, in emergency preparedness and access. So the question here is, how do we fill this gap? And that's kind of where we come in. So we, of course, want to make sure that our communities are represented. For those of us that are in data, or those of us that aren't, right? Even as a small business, we have to think about data and the numbers and who's represented in the work that we do. But as we all know, every data point is much more than just a number. It's a story, it's a family, it's a household. And so we want to bring that to life. The other big piece is the difference between connecting with a community, building trust with a community, and just showing up and saying, hey, we're here, right? So how do we build that trust with our community, right? And then, of course, culture versus health systems, thinking really in depth about the cultural aspect in the communities that we serve. So while we are based here in the Rio Grande Valley, we're based here in Brownsville, Texas, we also serve nationally through our partnerships. So this is a little bit about why it matters. I'm going to fast forward through this, but one side note I'll make here is just that there is a cost to inequity, right? And I think that many of us in the room understand this because we are small business owners, we are part of the community that we serve, and we know that if wellness and health disparities are on a rise, that does have an impact on the benefits to the community, on whether families can access services, right? So just to say that there is a cost of inequity, and that's something for us to keep in mind, that we're all connected. So our approach, just really quickly, is we have current day, we have our Luchad Health, which is our cornerstone program. This is really where we do our health education, where we do our health fairs, we do our health pop-ups, and a lot of that is actually done in collaboration with small business owners. So I'm excited because we've already kind of started this in the last year, but we're excited to push this forward and thinking creatively, thinking out of the box. How can we work with a coffee shop? How can we work with a taekwondo gym? How can we work with small businesses that are trusted in our community to also provide access to health information? The next piece is workforce development. So I'm really proud to say that we have officially kicked off our workforce development pipeline. And so this looks like our series, our PSI series. And this is essentially strengthening the skills that many of us already have, thinking about how can we turn a skill set that we have already and strengthening it to better connect with the community that we serve, to build trust and to represent the stories. So what you'll see at a lot of your tables is there's some flyers for our upcoming workshop on April 29th. If you're interested and available, we'd love to see you. And then last but not least is our national coalition, our national task force. And while this originally started in COVID as a very health-specific coalition, it has turned into a cross-sectoral partnership with a number of different types of organizations, community leaders, researchers, students. So if any of you in the room are interested, that is also an open invitation to join us. This is a little bit about our health equity and engagement. I'm not sure how much time we have left, but okay. So as I mentioned, this is the Luchad Health piece. We really focus on tackling health equity and doing that through engagement and through storytelling. Just a quick note that one of the storytelling angles we like to focus on is doing storytelling campaigns. So for example, in March, it was Women's History Month. So we used it as an opportunity to hear from people in the community, hey, who is the woman that inspired you and why? So that, again, while it seems unrelated to health, it's a way to build trust and engage with the community. Workforce development, as I mentioned, we're thinking about how do we continue to expand what it means to be trusted, to be a trusted messenger in the community. So the trainings that we offer, and this actually started at the summit last year, we're continuing that momentum into this year, is we offer a CEU accredited workshops. So every workshop we offer, every training we offer has CEU accredited hours. So that's, I know, important for some of us that maybe have certifications that we need to keep up with. And we basically are trying to equip the workforce that already is doing so much great work and just equipping them with additional tools to strengthen their connection with the community and the work that they do. And then, and this is probably one of the biggest pillars for us, partnerships. As I mentioned, we started off as a partnership-based organization, and we continue to build on that. We truly believe that we would not exist without the power of partnership. And there's a lot of us in the room that probably feel the same way. And I'm gonna make a quick side note here that it is with big thanks to our partners for believing in us, but it's also with big thanks to my faith, because faith, and I think many of us in the room feel this way too, faith has played a big role for me in keeping the nonprofit alive, because oh my gosh, there are days where I don't know how we're gonna keep going. I'm being fully honest with you here, and I'm sure that all of us have faced that at one time or another. But doing it together, doing it in community, doing it with the support of each other makes such a big difference. And how do we keep that alive? And how are we able to give back in that way? So that is one of the biggest things that we do in our task force. We try to be a support community. While it's a national support community, we're still supporting each other in every area that we serve. And this is just a quick map to see where we have partners. So as you can see, we have partners in over 25 states in the country, and we're building on that, including Puerto Rico. And we're just really proud of that opportunity. This is a little bit of our impact. And our sustainability model, which is probably one of the biggest reasons we're talking today, is just to share this. So our revenue stream, a lot of people ask us, well, how are you able to do all this? So we rely a lot on foundations and corporate sponsorships. That's how we have been able to keep this nonprofit alive. As of this year, we are starting to do B2B training fees, so we will never charge families for anything. As a nonprofit, we continue to offer services completely free for the community, but anything that's B2B has a small charge. And then strategic grants, this has probably been one of the hardest things to tackle. I had to become a grant writer last year. So last year alone, I applied to about 20, 30 grants, and we only got one. And that was hard. It was hard getting those first few no's. And after talking to a few partners, I was like, okay, we got to keep going, right? And then, of course, Summit and membership. So membership is probably the newest thing for us, but we're just trying to get creative about diversifying revenue, especially with the climate and how budget is currently divided right now. So budget is just a little tougher for the health field at the moment. So this is the ask. This is how we, different opportunities to support. So sponsorship is always an open opportunity to partner. Connectors, connecting us with different opportunities you may know of, and then collaborating with our task force. And of course, if you're interested to attend any of our workshops. So those are the ways that you can support as well. We do have our workshop coming up. I included the flyers at your table, and that's me. So join our movement, join us. I'm happy to answer any questions. So gracias, thank you so much. Right.
I think our first conversation was about you were sitting down watching three different people from three different points of life, and I saw that you were kind of like, how do I connect these people? How do I connect the dots?
Right.
So that was my branding for you that moment, right? And then your first idea for us was to get together, and you saw automatically a potential for a grant proposal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us more about that whole process and any successes you see?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I think the beauty with cross-sectoral partnership is that a lot of us feel like, oh, well, I'm in this field, I work in data. Oh, well, I own a gym. Well, I have a coffee shop. Well, I'm a nonprofit that works in chronic disease prevention. We're not related. We are. And there's so much that connects us, and that's the community, right? The families that we serve, how we serve them, how we work together to serve them. And the beautiful thing with cross-sectoral partnership is that sometimes the family that you're trying to serve maybe doesn't trust any of these three people, but they trust the gym owner because their kids go to that gym. So they know that they can trust that person if that person's part of the pitch. So for me, when I see different people at a table, I'm thinking, how can we work together? How can we think out of the box? And I think that that's, coming from a public health background, public health has traditionally always been a little bit in the box. You got to kind of like stay in the box. But I think COVID changed all that up. And I don't know how many of us in the room saw really non-traditional partnerships and alignments come together during COVID that were very successful. And another example is working with churches. A lot of people think, oh, no, you don't bring in the church into this type of work. But actually, working with churches increased success of talking about different health topics, creating a safe platform for families to come and ask questions. So I feel like that has been one of the biggest lessons learned from COVID. Going into today, how do we think out of the box? How do we get innovative to think about how we can serve our families? And so some successes, I think, are just, the opportunities that have arisen from that. So different sponsorship opportunities that have arisen for us have come from non-traditional partners, where you would think this organization, because maybe it's a private institution that doesn't touch health education, but they saw an opportunity after talking with us and said, okay, you know what, you're trusted, we have trust in different areas, but let's come together. And so funding has been one of those successes, but I'll also say that I think just the unique partnerships and alignments that have happened and have been modeled in other parts of the country are also a really powerful form of that success.
I guess, how does trust help in that? And if you could give an example of maybe Ed and the gym and how trust can help accomplish that. That's what I'm a little bit unsure about.
Yeah, so trust with the community or trust with each other?
Well, how
Both.
communities trust a few times,
Yeah.
and I just can't visualize it myself.
Yeah, that's a good question. So one, I think that there's how do we trust each other? So using Ed as an example, not to put you on the spot, we're fairly new friends, right? I mean, we met last year, we connected, we saw that there was already potential to collaborate. And we just kind of built on that conversation. But it took a few conversations for us to maybe get to the point where we are today to say, okay, you know what, yeah, I trust you. I trust your judgment and you trust mine. And so there's that level of trust. There's this kind of B2B trust, organization trust. And then there's the community trust. So Ed has been in his community for years, right? And so you have the trust of the parents and the kids that you serve, the kids that have been to your gym. I don't know those families. So if I waltz into your community and I try to talk to them, they're gonna be like, I don't know you. Even if I'm talking to them in the slang and the dialect of this area and I have elotes or tacos with me, maybe they'll listen to me, but they may not trust me. But if you're in the room, they're going to trust you. And so that kind of increases the opportunity of trust with the families that we're serving in that area. So that trust that organization has, that business has in the community, that's what makes such a big difference in seeing real impact in family outreach and health education, in improving the wellness of that community. And I think we see that a lot here in Brownsville right now. But I hope that kind of illustrates a little bit of what I mean by trust.
I can visualize it, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
Do we have any other questions?
Any other questions? Okay.
What are your future goals? What's on the new horizon?
Yeah, well, I mean, not to make this sound simplified, sustainability. Sustainability absolutely is one of those goals. As a nonprofit, and I think as many of us in the room understand, as small business owners, founders, you always want to be able to see yourself be able to step away from the organization and know that that organization will continue, that your business will continue, even if you go on vacation, even if you have to step away. So sustainability, not only in funding and knowing that we have enough funding to sustain us for at least a year, ideally 5 years in advance, but also in capacity, in manpower, on the ground and virtually. We have the manpower to continue the work and grow the work. So I think it comes back to sustainability, but there's so many different pieces that fall into that sustainability umbrella.
I'm so sorry. We're running out of time.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I'm going to need to cut the Q&A because we have another speaker.
Yeah,
I apologize.
we'll keep talking though. Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.
So much, Paulina. Well, thank you so much, Paulina. Now, this coffee shop, I don't know about you, but I've seen it everywhere. I've seen them collaborate with Fix. I've seen a lot of Instagram stories with their cute cups. And I love when business does that, cuando los negocios hacen eso, que los pueden ver por todos lados sin tener ellos que hacer la publicidad. No sé, se me hace algo súper padre y por eso, cuando empezamos a ver todo eso, sabíamos que queríamos tenerlos aquí. Entonces, por favor, ayúdenme a dar la bienvenida a Lucy y Jonathan. Ellos son los dueños de The Good News Coffee Shop.
Thank you. Hi guys, my name is Lucy, and man, I'm gonna want to stay with the mic because I can talk, but we're gonna kind of be sharing it. But my name is Lucy, and well, you can present yourself.
My name is Jonathan, the husband.
And we are the owners of the Good News Coffee Shop, and we're really excited to share. We don't know it all, and I think that's the beauty of today is just learning and growing together. But I want to kind of share with you our logo, the Good News Coffee Shop. And what this kind of just says by itself is we're big about community. We're big about bringing people together, bringing families together, even dogs and puppies. And it's all just creating a space where people can come together. And I'm going to pass it over to my husband so he can explain a little bit about our story and how we got to where we are.
So, okay. We started around 2013 dating, and as we were talking about each other and our dreams, we shared about having a coffee shop. And I think it's in everybody's interest to own and open up a coffee shop. But as we grew together closer, and as the date began to realize, we noticed that it wasn't just a coffee shop, but more about community. It was more about people. So we wanted to provide a space where people can come together, strangers can become familiar. At the end of the day, it's a small world. We all know each other some way or another. And I think a coffee shop brings people together. So my wife worked at IDEA in 2016 for like 4 or 5 years. I was working at a Be First, home health. And then in 2024, that's when we started renovating where what used to be a car lot. Took us a while, but finally we had our soft opening in November. And now we've been open since December 19th. That's our official grand opening. We've been together, actually? Okay, 4 more days for 4 months.
I think something special about, like Jonah was saying, I think it's everybody's dream to start a coffee shop in the sense that the idea of it. Everybody wants to either, I want a bakery, I want a flower shop, I want a coffee shop. And I think that when we were young, or when we were like 17, I'm 32 now and you're 36. And we dreamt of having a coffee shop, just the idea of it. But like Jonah was saying, as the time became, like it was actually, I feel like God was making a way for it to actually tactically be coming to life. This was kind of our story, and it's so crazy because when I worked at IDEA, I'm really big about cups. So every day at school, the way that I would grab my students' attention and as I would show up to class with a different cup each day. And they would always tell me, like, what is this with you and coffee? And I would tell them that I had a dream about starting a coffee shop. Me and my husband had a dream about starting a coffee shop. And what's so special is that I think it was like a couple weeks ago, some of the group of my class, I taught them when they were in 4th grade, and now they're in high school. I think they're sophomores. They went to go visit my coffee shop, our coffee shop. And it was so special because I saw the light in their eyes kind of go up because they saw that their teacher reached their dream. And I guess it gives them that that idea that, like, if she could reach her dreams, I could reach mine too. So I think the whole working at IDEA for me was really special because I was always sewing into my students of like, hey, like, we want to start a coffee shop, and then making it happen was really nice. And then another part was the place that we're at right now is really special to us because my parents actually had a car dealership there. So for 15 years, my parents sold cars. And that place, my dad, after he rented it out to this other guy. And then when we were just like, man, we really want a coffee shop, but everything, as you guys know, is so expensive. I don't know what's up with rent prices, but my dad was like, hey, you can take the place. It's a mess, but you're gonna have to renovate it. And we prayed about it, and we just, it's like, and I don't want to make this all about faith because I can, but it's God when it's just easy. There's just like a flow, and think you take a step and it's just like a yes, and then you take another step and it's like a yes. And I'm not saying it's like incredibly easy, but there is like this like favor to do things. And so we renovated the spot. It was crazy amount of money we invested into this place. I thought we were just gonna maybe put up walls, and it took a while to make this come to life. And I think what's very special is that our coffee shop now sits, like I remember my parents just being on their computer or negotiating with clients, and that's where our coffee shop is now. So I think that makes it even a little bit more special. And if you go inside, I think people, like you mentioned, like it's very, the way we designed it is, I want people to feel like you're, and not that you're escaping Brownsville, because Brownsville is beautiful, but sometimes like you just kind of want to go into a place and feel something. And I think that's kind of what we've built at the Good News Coffee Shop. So that's our little timeline. And I'll kind of pass it on to my husband, Jonathan.
This is, like we mentioned earlier, this is a place where we want people to slow down. This is something that we truly believe, as my wife mentioned. We're big about our faith, and one of the days that God created was the Sabbath day. And that's, it's hard for us to observe that day, and we understand that it is hard enough in this busy life, but we still know that it is a day that was created for us. So we're trying to observe that day ourselves in our personal lives, and we also want people to understand how important it is to rest. Not only to rest, but to slow down and enjoy the times of life, enjoy the things that you're doing, like the purpose behind it, even meeting new people. What is the whole big deal of doing life if you're not even enjoying it? So our coffee shop, even though it's smaller than a 600 square foot building, people have told us when they go. Actually, last week there was a lady who stopped by just to grab and go, and she was looking around, and I noticed, because it's like right in front of me, because it's a small space once again, and I asked, or she actually asked what like that. She really liked it. What's the whole like and she was saying, I feel peace around here, and I'm just here to grab and go. Like, what's a big deal about this? And I'm like, well, happy you noticed that, even though there was minimal interaction, but it's something that we want to provide, a place where you can be cozy, where you can just slow down and enjoy the cup of coffee, but also enjoy people in front of you. We actually have a little big table. We call it the community table. So strangers per se can just interact with each other. So this is our slogan. If you don't slow down, you'll miss it. You wanna?
And I think that this message is for us, and we tell our team behind the bar. I think another reason why we started the coffee shop is, when you think about a coffee shop, you think about like Starbucks or Dunkin' Donuts, and it's like go, go, go. Like coffee equals hustle. Like coffee equals let's go productivity. And I think that's great. Like I love to be productive. But the reason why we started this also was because we wanted to create a space and a message where we tell people to slow down. Like these moments, like you don't know where you're gonna be next year. You don't know what's gonna happen after we walk out of these doors. And many times, like you're sitting here, but you're thinking about what you're gonna eat for lunch and what you're gonna do in the evening, and you're never present in the moment. And so more than selling coffee, we wanna share this message of, hey, slow down. Like there's beautiful things happening in front of you, and you're gonna miss them if you're just always rushing towards life or comparing yourself or thinking about the past or the future. So it's kind of like our message, and when we have this in our window, like Jonah said, it says, if you don't slow down, you'll miss it. And it's like a table of people just gathering and sitting and talking. And even though people do go work at our place, I'm probably the one on my computer because there's a time for work, but there's also a time to put your laptop down and just conversate with the person in front of you. And I think that that's really what brings fulfillment into our lives, because the way we were designed, we're relational people. And I think talking about COVID like isolated us. And sometimes you'd be surprised, but the only thing that you need is to sit down with someone and just chat. And you're gonna see how the depression or whatever it is that you're going through will just go away, because we're made to be around each other. So if you don't slow down, you'll miss it. And these are a little bit of some photos and a little bit of our values. And I think something that we're big about in our coffee shop is our team. If our team, we can be like, okay, you guys slow down, like the people coming in, but if our team is rushed and they're just like all over the place, then you're not gonna be able to be slowing down in a place where the team is chaos. So we try to teach from the back of the bar out, starting with us. Like sometimes we're like rushing and we're like, hey, like I look at that window and I'm like, oh, that's for me. Like I need to slow down or I'm gonna miss it. And something that we're big about is attention to detail. So we're always telling our team, like even like small things that you would say that doesn't matter. It's like if somebody comes in and they want a glass of water and that's it, it's like, hey, you attend them with excellence. That's another one of our core values. Like it doesn't matter if people are gonna buy or not. We are not like, yes, we want to be profitable, but that happens on its own when there's a vision behind it. And so we pick up a cup and we're just like literally on the sky, just making sure it doesn't have any blemishes. And not because we're perfectionists, but more so because we believe in details. If you guys ever visit our shop, if you look around, there's like certain details that you'll notice. Another one that we're big on is community. And I actually put this little drawing here, and it's like somebody carrying up somebody else. We believe in helping others out. We're very good friends with, I think, all the coffee shops that are in Brownsville, and we believe in pushing the next person up. I think that growing up here in Brownsville, we're both from Brownsville. Sometimes it's in our Hispanic. It's in our Hispanic nature to like be like, no, I win and like only me. And you don't want to see anybody be better than you because it's just reality, it's just who we are. But one thing that we're very intentional is about how can we help the next person? How can we go support that coffee shop? How can I reshare their things? And I think that's what makes it all the more special because you understand that everybody is kind of struggling. Like being a business owner is already hard. It's like, how can I help the next person? Like, what can my coffee shop do to help? And I was actually sharing, and I wasn't going to share it, but sometimes we want to help. Like, man, if I was in Africa, I'd help all the kids. And it's like, sometimes you look around and there's needs all around us. And we are actually finding out that there is this girl that she walks from her house, and she lives by like Alton Glore. She walks from her house all the way to TSC every single day to go to school. I saw her sunburn, and I was like, hey, like, did you go to the beach? And she kind of shared her story with me, like, hey, like, I walk, like, my mom works at the port at 4 a.m., I don't have a ride. She lives only with her mom. And I told Jonah, my husband, I was like, hey, I would love to create a fund from the good news and buy this girl a car. I know it seems like you're a coffee shop, which, by the way, people that think coffee shops make you rich, they don't. But I said, if we're blessed, like, what are we blessed for? What is the money going to be for? For a bigger building, for like a better car? Like we want to help our community. And that's really what we've been planning. Like how can we build a fund where like a certain portion of the coffees that are sold go to this specific fund for this one girl, because that's the need I know about. And it's like buying her a car. Like how special would it be? Because coffee shops are everywhere. Like everywhere you go, people are already buying coffee. It's like, how can we give a meaning and a purpose behind it? And I think that's why we're big about community, excellence, experience, and hospitality. I feel like many times, like I would say hospitality a lot, but I didn't know what it meant. And actually, hospitality, the definition of that is love for strangers. It's like, I don't know you guys, but I can love you because I know that we're human and we can relate in that area. And something that we tell the girls behind the bar, because it's just girls working and my husband, Jonah, and I tell them, like, how do you treat the person that comes in? It's so easy to treat your regular, like, oh my gosh, good morning, you're back. And then this random person, you're like, good morning, or like you just treat them however. And it's like, no, hospitality is you treat strangers with love. And that's kind of what we're building. We haven't made it. I don't want to sound like we have it all together because obviously nobody does. But this is a little bit of the heart behind our coffee shop. I think I told my husband that if we could go back and start another business that was maybe more profitable, we would have done it because coffee shop is not the profitable one, but it's very fulfilling. It's very rewarding to see people. And we're just kind of taking one step at a time and seeing where the Lord takes this as in what he wants this to be. So I don't know, you want to say something about this?
Well, I mean, we can take more time talking, but that's pretty much us. We are the Good News Coffee Shop. A little bit of that name. We wanted to spread the news, which would be good news of just testimonies of people here in Brownsville. One idea we had is like printing little pamphlets of someone's testimony, something good about them, because you see the news and it's always bad news, but when are we ever going to hear? And there is good news to hear, so we kind of like have that, and also subtly sharing the gospel with hospitality and with love. So that's wait, is there another slide?
I think the last one is just.
Oh, there we go.
I do have one more thing to say. Last one, because I know we're running out of time. We're big on ingredients. That's another thing. So sometimes we're having coffee and it's great, but something we're really intentional on our side is the ingredients behind it. We have a very popular drink called the fresita, and it has pink cream top or cold foam. And the way that we make it pink is by putting beetroot powder in it. And it's like, it tastes so good, by the way, like you wouldn't know it's beetroot powder. But something we're big about our coffee shop is investing in high quality products. And I think everybody says that, but it's really hard when you actually like do it because it does come a little bit more expensive. But we're trying to implement a little bit of health also in our coffee shop. I struggle with migraines. I struggle with so many health issues. I can go on about my health issues. But our ingredients that we're drinking, that we're eating, they matter. The milk that we're drinking, the sugars that we're putting in our body, are they artificial? Where's the honey from? So we're trying to be intentional about that, and I think that's one of the ways that we're trying to be different and stand out is being very intentional with our ingredients. So that is our coffee shop, and this is the Good News Coffee Shop, and we hope to have you sometime soon. Yes.
Hey, congratulations. I know it's not hard to open a coffee shop. But going back to your hospitality, I've taken the Disney hospitality course called Be Our Guest. How big is your team?
We're 6, 7 with myself.
Six.
Yes.
Hospitality, when you said love yourself, hospitality means being known, right? Knowing somebody's, your name. Cross training, if you want to be replicated as well. Another thing is, you said I'm not in it for the business, I'm in it for the money, I'm in it for the passion, is that what I mean? Yeah. So technically, if you're in business, you're in it for what? To make money. Yeah.
Right.
Right? So when you doubt yourself, the universe says, well, you're not going to be making any money, you can just right here where it is. When you're talking about saying growth opportunities, guess what happens? You're going to start to scale, right? So where do you see yourself in the next 35 years? I think this company can actually be scalable and actually be, a franchise in that.
Right. Yeah.
I think finances are definitely important, but I meant it more so that it's not our why, because going back to I think another business would be more profitable. But going back to your question, I think in 3 to 5 years, I see us, we were talking about it, and I don't see us opening another location because we're very what's right here now, because we don't want to burn out. Even when we opened the coffee shop, we opened at 12. That was our 12 to 7 were our hours. And the reason why we did that is because people were like, hey, open in the morning, but it's we're not ready. It's gonna crush us. This coffee shop is gonna crush us. So I want to be intentional about, I would love to scale or go bigger, but it's also being intentional on the why. What's the pressure gonna be on our side, if that makes sense? If it's gonna be too much, and I am for growth. I actually have another business. I can talk about that another day. And I am for growing and scaling, but it's also, I guess when you're there, you're kind of okay, this is where I'm at. Right now we're trying to get a sign. That's our next step, to get a sign. And
I think yes. Like I said, we are 4 months in. We are learning so much. 4 months, yeah. Well, actually, in 4 days we're gonna be 4 months. So we're learning as we go. So many things, including the hospitality. What is hospitality? It's on 2705 East Price Road, close by Hannah. And there's a big Catholic church. But to answer back to your question, I think because we've been talking so much about community, how can we give back? One thing that we do have in mind, which we're still trying to see how we do it, but have marriage classes, obviously for free. See what we can do to fortify our what's it called, our marriages. I mean, I think we all know the statistics of that is 50% of marriages do get into divorce. So what can we do to minimize that? Besides that, have things for, I think a month ago we had we made a collaboration with a nonprofit. I think it's STX for young adults. So, is what can we do to have community events and just invest back in our community?
I guess our goal is to go deep instead of going wide right now. So it's kind of like, but the idea is, I mean, if it's, something available, I think being able to franchise would be amazing, or having a second location, like that's obviously the dream. But I think our eyes are kind of like, how can I go deep on this instead of going wide? If that makes sense.
My personal experience, I know since you're brand new in this company, just concentrate on one thing only. When you become really, really good at one thing, and then master it. Right, and then from there, everything will just start. Like, do you guys have SOPs in your business already, or
We don't. No, we don't. I think.
everything down so that it can be replicatable for the next?
Oh yes, systems of operations. I was like, SOP. I've heard that. Yeah, yeah, we have that. We do that. We're big on that too. We're creating a system, be like even for everybody. Like everything is just like, oh my gosh, like it's important because it's so much is going on. Like personal life, business. We're really involved in our church, and it's just like it could all be crazy. But I really appreciate that advice, especially coming from someone that has experience. I think that's what we lack. We have a lot of passion, but it's like, hey, sometimes you need the real stuff. So thank you for that. Hey, okay. I haven't. We haven't. What was it again? Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
I honestly thought you had, because I kept hearing the why, the why. Where'd you get that from? Because they talk about that.
I guess we're Christians, so we're very big on like going to conferences like for leadership and stuff at our church, and I think maybe we've learned that along the way. The why matters. Yeah.
That why had me crying the first week.
Oh.
Trying to figure out why I do what I do.
Yeah, the why is everything.
If you guys like books, try to see if you read the book, like your love Bibles, right? It's called the E-Myth book.
E-myth book.
Become structurable and also like replicable. That's for like anybody across the beginning.
E-myth. We're gonna do it. We love to read, so that's a good one. We're gonna do it.
I have another question. I have the last question. What can we do to help you? I know you have a great message. I love the idea behind it. What can we as a community do to help you spread the message?
That's a good question. I think I think it just goes back to supporting. Many times it's just like Starbucks is easier and it's probably cheaper, but there's a why behind this coffee shop, and also other coffee shops. Like we love to support just local coffee shops in general. I think that when the community starts to show up for big corporations, it's kind of like your money is going somewhere that you're not going to see it back. And when you invest in local things, like I'm pretty sure all of us in this room, it stays within the community. And I think that that's what's special. And last thing I would say that would help us is we don't have like a big marketing thing, but people have just been sharing, and we have no sign. Like we're like a small little house, and thank God it's people are not just coming for one time, but they're returning. And I think it's because people are sharing and people are saying, hey, like check out this place. And I think that's where community comes into play. And even us too, like if you have a business, we actually have a wall where we put people's cards up. We would love to support you, because I think that that's how we can support each other, is just showing up for each other. I don't know if you have an answer for that.
I think you answered.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Lucy and Jonathan, for being here.
Yes. Thank you guys.
Ay, Dios, se me apagó el micrófono. Espérenme. Bueno, no quiere prender, pero thank you so much, Lucy and Jonathan, for your story. I've seen you everywhere. I've seen you collaborate with Figs. I've seen you on a lot of stories. No quiere prender, de plano. So thank you so much. You have a beautiful story. And guess what? RGV started, wait. Thank you so much, Ed. Again, I skipped your slide. Thank you so much. Por favor, ayúdenme a darle un aplauso a Ed. He has been a big part of our community. He's always here in 1 Million Cups with his brother. He's always here supporting, asking questions. And I've seen him. He also presented a few months ago. It was last year. Was it in November, October? somewhere there. So thank you so much for always supporting us. And this goes for you and for your brother. Thank you so much for always being here. And RGV Startup Week is coming up next week, next Friday. Yo sé, he visto a varias personas que estuvieron el año pasado con nosotros en RGV Startup Week. ¿Alguna persona no estuvo el año pasado? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, probably. Well, RGV Startup Week, it's the biggest event, the biggest entrepreneurship event in the entire RGV. Somos el evento más grande en todo RGV de emprendimiento. Es una semana llena de workshops, de conferencias, de paneles. Son temas súper diferentes todos, desde restaurantes hasta franquicias, hasta cómo abrir un negocio, hasta temas legales sobre un negocio, todo relacionado al emprendimiento. Es una semana llenísima. Well, it's an entire week full of events, full of workshops. The first weekend, actually, it's going to be a boot camp where it's the Kaufman board, but it's like a speed version. So you do it in 2 days instead of 8 weeks. And then for Monday to Friday, from the following week, we have our day starts at maybe around 8, 9 a.m., and then we have events till like 10 p.m., where you can come, you can see our panelists, you can see workshops. We're going to have the BAP lab. If you can't find us here in Brownsville, we're going to be all over the RGV. We're going to be in Harlingen, in Edinburgh, in Far, in Mission, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, those are the cities where we're going to be at. So please scan the QR code. I'm going to give you a second to scan it. I want to see everyone scanning the QR code. A todos, 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 todos. ¿Se murió? A todos. Yo sé que ustedes ya lo escanearon, pero otra vez. Por favor. We are also having our keynote speaker. ¿Saben quién es el doctor Simi? El que me diga que no, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasó ahí? ¿El doctor Simi? No? You do know who's Dr. Simi.
Is he from Brownsville? Is he from...
No, he's all over Latin America. ¿De Dr. Simi? No? ¿De farmacias similares? No, you do know him.
I do not, I'm sorry.
You do. Well,
What does he do?
Es una cadena de farmacias. Los monitos del doctor Simi, ¿no? Bueno, son unas farmacias muy conocidas en toda Latinoamérica. Los monitos son los que han visto que avientan en los conciertos, que los disfrazan de los artistas. Sí, sí lo han visto, ¿no? Ya me sentí como que muy joven. Son farmacias. Es una cadena de farmacias, yes. And we're going to have the commercial director from Dr. Simi USA. He's in Austin, Texas, and he's coming all the way here to present their story and how they did Dr. Simi the icon that it is right now. Yo creo que es una historia súper padre para platicar. Y también tenemos 2 Million Cups. Como cada miércoles tenemos... Ok, ya se escucha. Como cada miércoles tenemos 1 Million Cups. En RGV Startup Week, we like to call it 2 Million Cups. Es nuestra edición especial. Vamos a tener al founder de 1 Million Cups, el que se le ocurrió la idea de vamos a juntarnos, vamos a hacer esto. Va a venir Cameron a presentarnos y va a venir Rodrigo, el dueño de Berry Nuts. Yo sé, aunque me digan que no, yo sé que han probado Berry Nuts. Son unos snacks de unas bolitas de granola cubiertas de yogurt. Él nos va a platicar su historia de cómo empezó como un negocio local y terminó vendiendo en más de 50,000 puntos de venta. Son bastantes, 50,000 puntos de venta. Suenan bien poquitos, pero son bastantes. Y por favor, si pueden escanear este otro código QR, please, I want to see everyone scanning this QR code again. This is a different QR code. This is our channel where you're going to be having updates of every event that we have. We don't spam. We're not going to be sending text every day. We just do maybe a quick follow-up every week with our events. Y Dania, do we still have the pop-up application open? Si aplicaron para nuestro pop-up de RGV Startup Week, you should be receiving a notification if you were accepted or not, either this week or the following. So please, please, please pay attention to your email and to your phone number because we are going to be reaching out to you. And Eric, do we have the 242 open yet? Is it still open? Oh, yeah?
I just wanted to add one thing for Startup Week, the Saturday before, well, the Saturday that Startup Week starts, we're gonna have a bike ride. We're working with the city to do a little quick trail just built into one of our oldest gardens to educate the community on the trail system that we have, because it is one of the oldest trail systems in Texas. And we give snacks, drinks, and just a perfect opportunity for networking. You don't have to have a bike. You can bring your own, or we're gonna have rentals for $5. But it's a great opportunity to just get to know some of the things that we have, an education on the histories and what is to come and what you guys would like, so that the city can start incorporating that and adding on to our trucks.
Okay, so we also have that, and we also have the application still open for 242. So 242, it's an event where you have 2 minutes to present your business, your idea, and you can win up to $2,000. We only have one winner, and that event is sponsored by Supply Pay. So I do suggest to go follow us on Instagram. Go follow the RGV Startup Week Instagram. You can also download the Huva app. I'm not sure when the application closes. I'm pretty sure it closes either today or tomorrow. So go ahead, please apply if you have a business, if you have an idea, go apply. And again, we'll reach out to you if you were accepted to participate. Please talk to us, connect with us. Can BCIC, UTRGV, and 1MC team help me raising your hand? If you have any questions, todas las personas que levantaron la mano somos del equipo de UTRGV, BCIC o 1 Million Cups. Si tienen alguna pregunta, pueden hablar con nosotros, pueden platicarnos. Y como todos los miércoles, nos vemos el próximo miércoles a la misma hora. As every Wednesday, we'll see you next Wednesday at the same time. And thank you so much, Paulina, Lucy, and Jonathan, for being our presenters of today. And thank you so much, Ed, for providing the coffee.